best for Henry County and the people of Henry County. Be with our men and women that's fighting for our freedom, keep them out of harm's way, be with their families, protect them, and meet their needs. And just thank you for all you do for us. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
This regular meeting of the Henry County Board of County Commissioners being held on Tuesday, February 13, 2018 at 5 p.m. in the City Commission Chambers in Lewiston, Florida. In attendance are Chairman Mitchell Wills, Vice Chair Emma Burr, Commissioner Gerald Harris, Commissioner Michael Swindle, Commissioner Carson Turner, County Administrator Charles Chapman, County Clerk Mark Ladd, and Clerk Barbara Buck.
I believe they're on. Everybody hear back there? Everybody? Usually when we start the meetings, everyone says they can't hear on the microphones. Just want to be sure. Tonight we'll get Mr. Harris to sing if we need to. No desire for that? Okay. We're going to move along then. We're going to actually drop down tonight into the staff reports and start there. We've got some other obligations that have to be met tonight. So in order to move these things along, we're going to start with you, Mr. Chapman.
All right. I believe Shane Parker, County Engineer, will be introducing the first item, a change order number 1 with Oak, Florida Inc. for the LaBelle Airport Terminal.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Harris, seconded by Commissioner Swindle. Any discussion?
It's just a roof slope.
We're changing the roof slope, and then just in case the restaurant doesn't work out, we want to go ahead and have the ability to install windows by putting some lintel blocks in, and then just wood frame them up. That way we can bust them out later, be a whole lot cheaper.
Okay. Very good.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We're just going to go tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Okay?
Is the agreement between Henry
Okay.
County
If you get a hold of Brian, please tell him that as well. Thank you.
Sky Family Young Men's Christian Association and some print programs in Henry County. And there's one change to the agreement in your agenda, and that is under attachment A number 2, page 12. They're not providing lifeguards. Henry County would provide lifeguards for the school. But everything else is consistent.
Okay.
Did they provide them last year?
Yes, sir, they did, and they provide them for the pool lifeguards during the Y program, and we provide them after the Y program. This time, we're just providing
The whole time.
all the lifeguards, and they're just gonna pay an entry fee to the pool.
Okay.
Okay.
Any motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Swindle, seconded by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion?
Yes. What? Winner, loser, YMCA, summer program, good, bad, and different?
It was good. We had, I think stayed between 35 and 50 consistents. It went pretty well. We need to make sure that we do the lifeguards so that we can pick when we train them because of that. But other than that, everything else went good.
We also had some interest possibly in some other parts of the county. Pioneer, Montura, and things like that. Is there, or I know we got some YMCA reps here.
It's a price per unit was the issue.
Right. The price per unit was an issue. In the discussions with YMCA, they were looking at expansions into Central County with Montura and then also with Pioneer. Pioneer has less than about 12 kids on average on a daily yield in the conversations and the fact-finding. That's just not quite enough for the YMCA to look at doing an expansion just yet. So in-house, East Recreation will be picking up that. We're going to be going through the process of hiring a summer camp counselor to pick up that program. So summer camp will be offered in Pioneer. We're just working on getting the curriculum from the school board that's been successful and working with the Bosleys and the various Pioneer Community Association members to make that a success.
Can I have a commitment from this board to make sure that we do everything in our power to have a certified teacher as identified by the school board, preferably, their first or second round pick that we put out there at the Pioneer community. I think we're talking about peanuts in the grand scheme of things financially, but the return on investment is astronomical.
I would like to see how many peanuts you're talking about.
Okay.
But I'm all for it if it's affordable. Absolutely. And just to clarify, the Central County and Montura, are they also? Are you going to go back to that?
I believe Denise Miller, who is one of the council members, is reaching out to the YMCA to have a discussion about whether or not or how
Okay.
they're going to be able to if it's feasible this year. They've got a lot of questions. I believe they're going through some potential changes with their management. There's a lot of questions of how the summer camp would be organized versus how it's been organized in the past.
Okay.
I can't speak to that. There's a funding mechanism within Central County that would be a primary source. We would be an auxiliary source to that.
Okay.
So
So there is some discussion.
I'm trying
Good.
to get more information once they've had their initial conversation.
Okay, thank you.
If you advertise, you can get those teachers.
Yes, sir. I think too, Commissioner Swindle, Mr. Chair, I think that I would ask YMCA to reach out to Central County and just see what their logistics are looking at as well. And if you could coordinate that meeting, I think that it could, because I mean, tomorrow March is going to be over,
Yeah,
and parents
yeah.
are going to be, what are we queuing up to do? And
Right.
That CCOM group, I think that they've been a very big advocate of trying to work with us. I think that we need to try to carry that forward.
There may be some weeds there. I mean, they've been doing a program of their own successfully, but I think they also want to look at the YMCA option in conjunction or as an option. So at least let's give them all the tools.
Yup.
You were absolutely correct. Again, Commissioner Miller, who I believe is now chair of the Central County Commission, is engaged in that conversation. I will round back and make sure that conversation is happening, just to make sure it's brokered appropriately, and I'll brief the board as that goes forward.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on that? So we need to take action on this, or we need to wait till,
As long as we've approved the agreement for the Harlem-based summer camp.
We should be
and
good.
there's no further action
Okay.
needed. I've got my
Very good.
directions, sir.
We were in discussion when I started asking questions, so we still need to move.
so we need a motion in a second.
We got that. We just need to
Yeah.
vote.
Just need
We
to
did?
vote on it.
Yeah, they
I'm
want
lost. All right, all those in favor?
motion and he said-
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're found again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Promise not to talk until the next item.
Mr. Lapp, to you.
Yes, first item is this operations agreement for skydiving. I'm going to ask that this be postponed until the next meeting. It's not signed yet. And one of the three parties is questioning whether they really ought to be part of it. I mean, not Skydive Air Adventures, they agree, and Drop Zone, which is their partner, agrees. The plane owner is disagreeing, so we're in discussions about that.
You gotta bring it back next.
You need action? Do you need us to vote?
So you don't
Okay,
need a
just
motion
pull
to
it.
table. We're just going to
Pull
pull
it.
it, re-have it, and go. Okay.
Purchase and sale agreement with Airways, I think Charles.
There's been a lot of discussion today about this, particularly one of the exhibits within the purchase and sale agreement itself, dealing with a pre-existing county lease that we've took on to coin as the Barone lease. There's some clarification that needs to be continued to negotiate to get to equitable terms. In the discussion with AIA today, we both agreed that we need to postpone to the 27th to give us a little bit more time to iron out the finer points of the detail.
Can you pull it on your own, or you want motion to that effect? Pull it on your own?
No action.
Okay,
No action needed?
good.
But you and Mark will be at the table.
At the will of the board, yes, sir.
Okay, should be the will of the board.
I would love to see the chairman give a direction to make sure that Attorney Lapp and county manager, what's your name? Chapman, be involved in that discussion and driving for the
Absolutely.
clarifications.
Yeah, you guys, we need to make sure you're there to represent us and make sure that we're getting all the i's dotted and the t's crossed, so that'd be perfect. Let's just go on through there and finish up on that, Mr. Lapp, then we'll go back and get to start over.
Right. The next one is the settlement agreement with HE Hill Foundation versus Robbins. Excuse me. That's explained in the memo. It's to accept $7,000 back into our housing fund and resolution of this.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item for me is the ratification of the extension to the local state of emergency. We've got three.
You want to make it happen again?
So moved.
Yeah, 21,
Second.
21, 22, and 23.
Yes, sir.
Motion made by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to drop back to the top of the list and start with the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything we need to pull there? Are we all good? Or?
Mr. Chair, apologize for being late. Tom Adams Bridge in Charlotte County was down, and had to get some material. We got red labels. Anyway, major mistake on my end. Quality Electric's en route What did we went straight to staff report?
We did.
Okay. All right.
Consent.
Man, I thought y'all moved kind of quick. Wow.
Meeting over.
Pee-wee show's on, huh? Mr. Swindle got to get his steer show. Okay, that's what it is. Miss Davis too. Good Lord. All right.
Cows take,
Thank you.
cows and bulls.
Cows
back
and
to the,
pigs take precedent in Hendry County.
Consent agenda there.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The balance.
Bids first.
Invitation to bid.
Oh, I didn't see the bids. My bad. We're gonna start. I'm sorry with the bids. Then got a bid to approve a bid for Lavelle Construction.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move to the consent.
Make a motion to approve consent unless there's an item to pull.
Second, that's what I was saying.
That's what I asked. Nobody said anything, so we're good.
Yeah.
Motion made by Commissioner Byrd, second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. County engineering, we've already,
Reclamation engineering.
Awards and appearance.
awards and appearances.
I know that
Call
we
it
have
there.
somebody here for the Manchu Warriors.
Yeah.
We have a couple of those.
We do.
We got a, engineer going on too.
Let's see, a proclamation, Engineers Week. I think our engineer's been recognized several times, hasn't he?
It's the full
He's
hot
the
water
engineer of the
this
year.
guy.
Yeah? For all engineers,
All
yeah.
engineers.
Well, we're just recognizing you, Mr. Parker. We recognize everyone else, but it's nice to have one that gets noticed by everyone in the state, so.
Miss Foster's here in the back. She's an engineer.
Ms. Foster.
She's a good one too.
Hi, Ms. Foster, how are you? Come on up and,
She's the main engineer.
she's the main engineer, she's Shane's engineer?
Yeah, she keeps them
Man.
straight.
Listen, I just try to keep my boss engineer in check, which is a task in itself. I'm sorry, I'm Summer Foster. I'm with Johnson Pruitt. I am also the Florida Engineering Society Calusa Chapter President this year, and I'm an engineer in Hendry County. I'm not from this area, and having been immersed in Hendry County and Glades County over the last almost 10 years now, and especially assuming my role as the president of the Calusa chapter, I made a point to get our communities more involved with either STEM education or just outreach or just the profession in general, especially in the rural areas. Collier County and Lee County get a lot of credit, and I'm always, hey, what about us over here? So I appreciate you guys taking time. This upcoming week is Engineers Week. It's a whole week-long celebration. We have proclamations across our whole chapter, and actually the state does also, and we'll be speaking to students. We're trying to get projects with elementary schools. That one's a little bit tougher to tackle, being as there's so many elementary schools in the area, but the Gliston High School has a career fair coming up, and we'll be speaking at that soon, and just trying to get information about the profession and making a point to give back to the community and just be a voice and help out where we can. That's part of our motto is public health, safety, and welfare. So again, I appreciate your time and the recognition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you. It's very nice that you're engaging the schools. We've been talking about that quite a bit, and somewhere between the end of middle school and high school, we're losing our kids. So I'm glad to hear that you're going into the schools to talk with our kids. I believe that's really important. So we thank you for that.
You're so welcome. If there's anything I can do to help out with that, or Lavelle, if you guys ever in Lavelle, if you know of their career day or if they have questions or middle schoolers, just let me know. Like I said, it's harder and there's not as many engineers over here as there are on the coast, but we are making a point to just talk to kids or help them understand, hey, come shadow us for a day, see what it's all about, and just get familiar with what it means to be an engineer.
Right.
You have this title and not a very good understanding. So Pepe Lopez actually sent me an email and said, hey, this is something that I think would be good for you guys to speak at. And I called the lady and she was just beyond ecstatic. Oh, we don't have any engineers to speak. Thank you. So
Does Shane have your phone number?
I've sent the email to Shane actually. So I've talked to him about the meeting before about this event. And like I said, if you know of any, or any kids in general, send them our way. I can give you the website, or you can just have them stop by the office, or Shane. It's important to have kids going into college know what it means to be an engineer and the tackles, and it's also fun, but just to have a good understanding of what it is.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. I just didn't want to break my broke phone. That's okay. Hey,
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm just gonna hop up here like I'm a. Can I try and?
Yeah, right, grab the gavel there. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
We made a motion to adopt that. Yes. I make a motion to adopt the
Second.
resolution.
Motion made by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one is a proclamation for the Manchu Warriors. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, ma'am, gentlemen. Matt Kinderman, I'm the commander of American Legion Post 130 in LaBelle, and today I brought with me two of our Manchu warriors. Doug Stowell is East Snowbirds in Hendry County, and Mr. Ron Price. They're both from the Manchu Warrior Unit, the 9th Infantry Regiment. Ron was actually in Vietnam at the Battle of Hoc Mon on March 2nd, 1968, and he's one of the only 43 survivors of the event, and he lives in Southwest Florida also. Vice President, 9th Infantry Regiment. Yep, and the Vice President. But I'll bring both of them to the podium. Doug's a man of few words.
Well, Doug Stoll, we really appreciate being honored in this way. As everybody knows, the Vietnam veterans were kind of didn't get much respect or appreciation when they came home, and anything that we can get now is certainly makes us feel better and good, and we really appreciate it for the sacrifices that everybody made, and a lot of them made the ultimate sacrifice. So that's pretty much it on my part.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just briefly, I'm the Vice President of 9th Infantry Regiment Manchu Association, and our Medal of Honor recipient is buried at Fort Deneau Cemetery. I've maintained his gravesite for the last 10 years because his whole family's gone. So I've maintained it, and we've done services there before, and I'm very honored of the American Legion Post 130 there in LaBelle. We're doing the 50th anniversary of the Hoc Mon ambush that we were in, and Nick Kutina was he sacrificed his life. He saved 9 of my men's lives and took 15 of the enemy's lives, and unfortunately sacrificed his life too. So I thank you all for the proclamation and for the honor of my fellow veterans. And I'm Senior Commander of Disabled American Veterans in Cape Coral, so we're always glad to help out. So I thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. God
We
bless
thank
the
you very
USA.
much for not what you have done.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
We thank you, gentlemen. Like I was about to say, if you had not done what you've done, we would not be sitting here enjoying the things we have today.
Mr.
So
Chair,
thank you very much.
would you all take the time to please explain what is housed at your Legion Hall and just kind of educate us? I think this is a great audience.
Yeah, sure. And after I'm done, if the county or if we could read the proclamation for the audience.
Absolutely.
too. So the American
Yes.
Legion in LaBelle is a custodian to a Medal of Honor. And for those of you who don't know, the Medal of Honor is the highest award that the nation can bestow on a soldier or an airman or a Marine or a sailor. The Medal of Honor itself, the physical medal, is protected by the Department of Defense. So only recipients can receive one. The President can order one to give to a surviving family member. But if it's lost or stolen, the process of going through another one has to be petitioned through the Secretary of Defense. So the medal that's hanging in the American Legion Hall in LaBelle is the actual medal that was handed to the surviving mother by President Nixon. It's the original. The case that it's in had to be certified by the Secret Service to afford a certain level of protection. And the American Legion doesn't own the medal; it's owned by the family. But the family just needed a place, to keep it, and we make it available for public viewing. So.
And it's the only veterans organization in the United States that has the Medal of Honor on display by the Foundation of the Department of Defense. So you have the only Veterans Foundation in the country that has the Medal of Honor on display.
Mr. Chair, it's the definition of Americana history. I mean, it's amazing. Thank you all for what you've done for our country. And this is a once-in-a-country event. I mean, that we have that honor to be able to house that. So
Yeah, very amazing. I know we got something coming up soon. What was the date of that, Mr. Kennerman?
March. The event is March 2nd.
March 2nd.
Sorry.
And March 3rd.
And March 3rd. So March 2nd is the actual 50th anniversary of the event. We're going to have a celebration at the American Legion. But Saturday morning, March 3rd, at 9 o'clock at Fort Deneau Cemetery, we're actually going to have the 50th anniversary celebration. And it's going to be a formal ceremony. It's going to be at the cemetery because that's where Nicholas Katina is,
Right.
our local veteran. And I know it's ominous to have a 50th anniversary at a cemetery. However, we didn't want to hold it without him present, as we could. So I sent an invitation to the commissioners in November. That was a long time ago in commission hours, years. It's like 150 years in commission years. But we're going to send another one. Emily's been very supportive of this whole event, so I want to appreciate her in public for all her support. Emily actually knew about the grave well before this event because her father's a veteran as well. So we're everywhere. You're kind of surrounded by veterans in Henry County. It's just we're not as visible as most people. We're a little low-key like the rest of Henry County natives.
Well, once again, we thank you very much for your service. I'm going to read this into the minutes. County of Hendry, State of Florida, proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County, Florida, proclaiming March 2nd, 2018 as Manchu Warrior Day. Whereas local veteran Nicholas Kutnahina served with the Manchu Warriors of Company C, 4th Battalion, 9th Regiment, 25th Army Infantry Division during the Tet Offensive in Vietnam. Whereas the Manchu Warriors fought bravely in defense of liberty during the Battle of Hoc Mon, March 2nd, 1968, losing 49 soldiers, 24 soldiers wounded, 92 soldiers of the unit in just 8 minutes. Whereas Army Specialist Nicholas Kutnahina was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for valor under the fire when saving the lives of 9 of his platoon mates before being fatally wounded. Whereas annually, surviving Manchu warriors gather in Henry County to render reverence and gratitude for the sacrifice of their brethren. Whereas this reverence shown by Manchu warriors upon a local veteran epitomizes the American values shared by our community. Now therefore, the Henry County Board of County Commissioners, Henry County, Florida, does hereby proclaim March 2nd, 2018 as Manchu Warrior Day, duly considered and adopted by the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County this day, January 23rd, 2018. Once again, gentlemen, thank you so much. We can't say that enough. We appreciate you very much.
It might be better. It might be standing over here probably best. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have one more under awards and appearances. Central Florida Behavioral Health Network. How are you?
Good evening. I think I was here just a little last month, and you asked me to come back in a few months, and I'm here much sooner. Thank you. Linda McKinnon. I'm the CEO of Central Florida Behavioral Health Network. I wanted to update the commission regarding some recent events with the mental health center that we have under contract, Crossroads. I think you remember last month we said we were thinking that this relationship and that the contract was going to work. We were notified last week by Crossroads of their intention to cancel the contract with Central Florida Behavioral Health effective March 9th. We have moved very quickly to assure that we have services in this community. We have 2 providers that we're currently working with. One is here tonight, Bob Ryan, who is the CEO of Tri-County Human Services. They have been a provider in our network for a long time in Polk Highlands and Hardy counties. We are also working with the Center for Progress and Excellence, which is a non-profit subsidiary of Elite DNA, who currently have 4 locations that they're providing services out in this community. Our intention is to contract with both agencies so that we will actually have more capacity in our communities and ensure that services are ongoing.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
where will their physical locales be, or will they even have a campus, so to speak?
The location that Crossroads is currently in is a county, and we did meet
Just
this.
in LaBelle, correct?
Pratt Boulevard.
Okay.
Yes. There are the 4 other locations are the United Way in LaBelle, Henry Glades Regional Hospital, the Family Health Center in LaBelle, and the Hope Health Center in Clewiston.
Wonderful.
So we anticipate that capacity is going to be increased out of this.
And are they currently occupying the space?
Yes. Not the health department. That's Tri-County would move into the county building, but the other locations are currently being occupied by Elite DNA.
And is that with qualified staff people?
Yes.
Not telemeds? And
They have clinicians there. They do have the capacity to do telemed if it's necessary, but they have actual physical presence clinicians and are working in with the health department and United Way. So they do have a physical presence. They were going to try to be here tonight. I think there was a big event in Lee County that they had to be at this evening.
Edison. Do y'all have to have a certain amount of volume to keep your program going?
That has been an issue traditionally. The dollars that we contract for through the Department of Children and Families can only be used for people who do not have insurance and are indigent. They are available for people of undocumented status can use those dollars. It's been traditionally difficult for a small nonprofit that is not undergirded in other ways to be able to pull all of those contracted dollars from us. What we hope through having a really established provider through Tri-County who has worked with department contracts as well as Medicaid and Medicare for many, many years that can bring in their administration as a back office, that will really help with a lot of issues that we have had with having small providers. Elite DNA, as I said, they have, I should start calling them the Center for Progress and Excellence because they have formed this nonprofit side by side. They have been successful just working with the Medicaid and the insured population. And so we believe that we now have 2 physically strong providers that will be able to provide services in this area.
Will they work on a daily basis or as needed?
We really, again, we have to look at the whole volume of what it is. So it might be that they're open 3 to 4 days a week rather than 5 days a week, but that would be very much determined by the volume. One of the things that we are hoping, and we've discussed with the county today, is better integration with the jails, the schools, and other places that really do need services. And there are ways to pay for those services but haven't been accessed
So
prior.
how soon would they pick up Crossroads?
They'd be picking it up. Crossroads ends March 9th. I think that's a Friday. We would begin March 12th, which is a Monday.
And can I recap on something you said there?
Yes.
Maybe I should dig a little deeper. You said that you had conversation with county staff today about expanding services into the jail and into the school system. Is that what you
About
said?
the need for services.
So you don't have a plan to do that yet? We don't have footprint on the ground? We're not, are you?
We
We
were
never have.
notified. We were notified 6 days ago, so we've been moving very, very quickly. But what we want to try to do is better integrate, and with having more of a presence to be able to do that. That's been an issue.
And we want you to have that as well. And anything that we need to do to push, pull, prod, please let us know, because we want that. If undocumented status folks can have it, but our school kids can't, there's a problem somewhere.
Well, and most of your school kids have Medicaid. So there is coverage. Again, it's the outreach, and we have to come up with some creative ways to be able to get to these children and families. We know with the rural atmosphere, it's really difficult transportation. The usual kind of clinic model doesn't work. We found that out now twice. So we're going to have to be creative with that. And some of the things that you talked about with telemedicine, we talked about today, if we could open some hub and spokes at maybe neighborhood centers and other places that people have easier access to.
So if you receive that call tomorrow from the school, but you'll still be able to accommodate them?
They would.
If you receive that call tomorrow from a school, would you be able to accommodate
If we
them?
received a call tomorrow from the school and they needed someone seen, we would find a way to do that. Elite DNA, as I said, is out here. They do a lot of work with children. They currently provide services for child welfare in this location, and I'm sure they would be responsive.
Thank
We
you.
would. So my number, if you would like it, test us out, is 813-740-4811. And my name's Linda McKinnon, and I can guarantee if we get a phone call from this community reaching out, needing some kind of help, we will do everything we can to make that happen.
And Ms. McKenna, I appreciate you being here again. I'm sorry it's under this. I wish you would say you were adding 2 more in addition to, what we already had, but, I'm sure there's nothing that can be done about that today. But I would appreciate a continual update on your behalf.
We will certainly do that. We're also, during this transition period, we will send out, like we did last time, every week, an update on our progress. One of the things that you talked to me about last time was the need for services to address the people with addictions issues. Tri-County is very experienced with that, has experience with providing medication-assisted treatment, and so that is already will add to the community's capacity.
Okay.
So, Ms. McKinnon, you're out of the Hillsborough office?
Our office is located in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
we
that's-
cover 14 counties in the region. We're not a provider.
Yep.
We work under contract with the Department of Children and Families to manage the network. And under that contract, we are responsible for assuring that services are available in all of our communities.
If you look at DeSoto County, for example, Hendry County, you look at them from a demographic basis, it's almost like looking in a mirror. But DeSoto on the average receives I want to say, just like from the last look at the numbers, around $600,000 more per year on the total allotment. But let's just call it $300,000 toward, so 1.3 to 1.6. How does that happen? Is it because they have? Just go ahead, take a stab at it.
I'd be happy to answer to what I know. We inherited the way that the funding was distributed from the Department of Children and Families about 5 years ago. We noticed at that time that the funding was not equitable across all counties. Our board took it upon themselves to try to move towards equity within all counties and funding within circuits. What we found during that period of time is that it's really, really difficult. We could not take money away from communities that already had services developed up and running to move them to communities that did not have that. So what the board put in place was an equity formula, and every time that we get new funds from the state or federal funds, your counties get a higher distribution of those funds until they come into equity with the other counties.
Okay.
But that takes,
That makes sense.
and it takes new dollars.
And it takes generations.
Yeah.
It takes new dollars to make that happen. We have moved towards that. Actually, Tri-County at one point in time was not in equity, in an area where was equity and it wasn't as much under as your areas, and they now are within equity of the other areas. So it is happening. The issue is that we don't very infrequently do we get a substantial amount of new dollars to be able to do that with.
How could it happen first time?
Well, you have, in my opinion, I mean, this is no disrespect to anybody in the room, but you just don't have advocates that are at the table that are kicking and clawing and scratching and justifying the dollars that are coming down, and or you have gaps in services. So when that pie starts getting split up, you only get a smaller piece, and then that just carries on for years, and then that's the way it happens. And so, I mean, we're already playing second fiddle, so we've got to
Take a file.
In that case, question, the other counties that are having the higher allotments, do they have facilities? I know most everyone, if you go to the clinics here in town, you're sent to somewhere else for a
Yes.
facility.
Yes.
Is there a reason why we do not have one, other than funding, maybe?
I
You gotta
would
go to
say
Charlotte or Lee
funding and
County.
potentially, critical mass. Again, we inherited a system and the way that things were funded. So I really can't tell you how all of that occurred. I don't really know, other than what we inherited, and then you need to, for instance, a crisis unit. To have a crisis unit here is very costly. It's about $350,000 a bed a year, and so you have to have the resources to be able to support those kind of bricks and mortar facilities.
Well, I understand. That's what I was wondering going forward, because reality is right now we have so many in Henry County. It's not funny, but they have to go to Charlotte County, and Lee County's always the beds are full.
or Western Palm Beach.
And then
Right.
getting them
On this
there,
side.
so they're not getting the help they need, because it's,
What we would be really happy to do is to work with you to try to work on a legislative budget request for next year. We're a little late for this year,
Right.
but we would be very, very happy to do that. I'm in Tallahassee all the time. We do have an association of managing entities, and we certainly are out there advocating for our communities when the communities come together and say, this is what we need.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we definitely have an issue with it in Henry County, and the reality is, if we don't start now, next year we're going to be sitting here asking the same question. So really, we need to address the needs of the community, and that's one. So just going forward, we really need to work on that. Anybody have any other thing you'd like to add to that, or take away, or?
I'm going to stop for now.
Thank you.
We sure appreciate you, Ms. McKenna. Thank you for being here tonight and
Thank
taking
you.
the time to come back.
All right.
We will be in touch with you and get to work on some of this, we hope.
Okay,
Thank you. Moving into public hearings. We have an ordinance amendment of the holding period for impounded animals.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is in follow-up to the discussion at the last board meeting where you directed that we proceed with this amendment to take the hold period back to 5 days from the 3 working
Motion
days.
to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Turner, seconded by Commissioner Byrd. This is a hearing of the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to address this? Seeing none, is there any further discussion on the board?
The city was still at 5, right? Okay.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've already taken care of the staff reports. So, is there any public information from anybody in the public who would like to speak tonight? Yes, sir, Mr. Pepe, would you come forward? There's nothing there.
Good evening, Joe Pepe, Florida Department of Health, Hendry Glades. I just wanted to give you guys some updates on a few things. Been in conversations. Behavioral health has been a major initiative of mine since I got here 3 years ago. And several of you heard me talking about adverse childhood experiences and the impact upon health and academic persistence, to answer your question. We've already had our first meeting with the CEO of the hospital as well as the superintendents of both counties. And so, as a result, we are looking to expand our behavioral health outreach into the schools. My initiative is that the schools become the oasis for our kids to thrive, and it's a safe place for them so that they're more likely to graduate high school. The other component to that is we have been finally on the home stretch with FIU with 5 nurse practitioners that are in clinical rotations, and they will be embedded with us in Hendry County. And the initiative is to focus their efforts on our community with the hopes that they stay here, move here, live here, and practice here. So to expand services. So that partnership is between us with the health department and right now RD at the hospital. And so my intent is to expand our school health program so that not only do we provide a higher level of care in the schools, but also to expand the behavioral health component as well. And I'm familiar with all of the parties that were here today and that were mentioned, so we will make sure that we have a comprehensive service, and behavioral health was a big part of that. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then lastly, if you go to your app store and type in Hendry Glades, you'll see the new public health preparedness app that we just launched as part of our readiness for the first day of hurricane season. So I'd love to hear your feedback on that. And with that, that's it.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Pepe.
Pepe.
Dr. Pepe, I'm telling you that I appreciate you working with those folks and doing that. The organic, help is going to come from you and directing them. So I appreciate that. I'm not comfortable with them as much as I am you in directing where they need to be.
And we're building a community dashboard based on the data on the behavioral risk factor surveys and our student surveys and health outcomes. And then we're going to build a strategic plan moving forward. And my hopes is that with that data, to answer Mr. Turner's question, was we will get in the pipeline for more funding opportunities to justify that need.
Good. Thank you.
So we're working on it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Anyone have anything else in the public? Commissioners, Mr. Swindle, I know you got to go. You want to start?
No, I'm all good. No, plenty of time. We were record time. So
I bet.
perfect.
Ms. Bird?
Just like to say thank you to Henry County Sheriff Department. We had a program yesterday called The Gap, Gaining Perspectives by Adjusting the Perspective of Our Young People. So he was working with them. They was at the Civic Center. They did some interaction with them. So I want to tell them thank you for coming out for our kids, because our kids, these are our next generation. So we're trying to prevent them from getting to DJJ. So they came out yesterday and did an interactive with them. So I want to tell them thank you. Other than that, everything else is fine.
Mr. Turner?
Do you have to have a permit to put up a fence that was knocked down by Hurricane Irma?
Yes,
You do, don't you?
we didn't waive any permits.
Okay, just making sure. Thanks for all y'all coming to Tallahassee. I thought it was very good for us all to be up there and engage the process. It doesn't sound like this legislative session is going to be very giving to us, but I think we queued up some great discussions to be had in the future. So, go buy an animal at the fair.
Mr. Harris?
Nothing.
Nothing. Lord Jesus.
Pass.
All right. Once again, I thought it was my kind of first go around in that venue up there, so I was very pleased. I thought the team had things laid out really nice for us. It was a good experience on my part. Looking forward to next year getting more involved, and you know what? If we start pushing now, maybe we can get some unity going and some push behind and get some of those things that we need in this coming year. So, and I kind of heard somewhere that Tommy was volunteering to be a lifeguard, so I was really glad to hear that.
Awesome.
So I was really glad to hear that. So we appreciate that. Thank you for stepping up. That's really it. So
Thank you, Mr. Barnes.
anybody have anything else? Meeting adjourned.